job ever because I get to bring art lessons to you. I teach with the PACE program that uses the subjects that your teacher brings to you, except I will make it an art lesson. I will be working all year to help your teacher make learning fun. We're going to be exploring lots of different subjects, but today we're going to talk about science. You will recognize some of the things that we talk about, and you might be learning something new. The PACE program brings lessons to you with either visual arts or creative movement. Today we're going to do visual arts. You might be watching from your classroom or you might be watching from home. Either way, we are coming to you thanks to the Acadiana Center for the Arts and the Lafayette Parish School System in Lafayette, Louisiana. You can find these videos anytime on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel, or you can go to the LPSS website and find them there. You are welcome to share your projects with us on social media, like your parents' Facebook page, or you can post it on the Acadiana Center for the Arts Facebook page. We would love to see the artwork that you create. Well, today we're going to talk about solids, liquids, and gases. Now, you may have heard a little bit about that, and you might know that solids are things like your desk or table. Your bones are solid. Your food is solid. But what about the things that you drink, like water or milk? Those are liquids. But what about gases? Can you see gases? No, gases are all around us. But when you see a balloon is full of gas. Now, a balloon that floats is full of helium gas. So there are different kinds of gases. Do you know what kind of gas we breathe when we take a deep breath? What kind of gas is that? Does anybody know? Oxygen. We breathe a gas called oxygen, and when we breathe out, it's carbon dioxide. Plants do the same thing, except they breathe in carbon dioxide, and then they breathe out oxygen. So we work together to provide the right gases for each other to breathe. So in this art lesson, we're going to have two parts of the art lesson. The first part we'll do today, and we'll save our piece of paper. And the second part of the art project, whenever I come back with you, we're going to be creating something to glue onto today's part of the project. So today, the only supplies you'll need are a piece of paper and crayons. This is a project where you're going to want to layer your different color crayons. So for example, we're going to start with the color brown, and sometimes you might have brown and tan. Sometimes you'll have a color called burnt sienna, and those are all really beautiful browns that you can blend together. So what are we going to make today? Well, guess what? We're going to make a pizza. Does everybody like pizza? Well, my family sure likes pizza. We love pizza so much that we make pizza at home sometimes. And everybody gets to have their own little pizza, and we put whatever toppings we want. What's your favorite kind of pizza? Well, my kids love pepperoni and cheese pizza. But I like pizza with a lot of vegetables on it, and they don't like that very much. But maybe you do. Maybe you like pizza that has hamburger meat on it, or maybe you like only cheese pizza, and that's okay. But maybe we could use different kinds of cheese. So when we're talking about solids, liquids, and gases, we can look in our kitchen and find a lot of those things. So when we're cooking, sometimes we have a liquid, and as it's cooking, it's creating a gas that's coming off of, you can see the steam coming out of the pot that's cooking on the stove. So like the pizza sauce that we would put on the crust, that's a liquid. But the crust itself is a solid. It may have actually started out as two different things. The flour is solid, but the water we add to the flour is liquid. So those two combined create our pizza dough. So that's what we're going to start with first. And I want you to think about, what shape do you want your pizza? My daughter always likes to make a heart-shaped pizza. And my son, one time he made a baseball cap-shaped pizza. So what is your shape going to be? You can make a square pizza. You can make a circle like we usually see from a pizza place. Or you can use a triangle and make a triangle pizza. This is your artwork, so I want you to think about it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw that big shape for your pizza. Start with a brown crayon, because what happens when we put that pizza in the oven? The crust starts to turn brown. And you probably are familiar with that with a piece of toast. Now, if you put a piece of toast in the toaster or the oven, what happens? Well, it starts to change color, and first it turns to a golden brown, and then it starts to get darker and crispier, and so that's what happens. And there's a funny little song that my kids like to sing, and it goes, "You can't untoast the toast, you can't untoast the toast," and they're right, you can't untoast toast. So, let's get started. Before you get started, I want you to write your name on the back of your pizza so that we know whose is whose when it's time to do the second part. So I'm going to write Miss Christy here, but I want you to write your name. What's your name? That's right. Go ahead and write that on your piece of paper, right in the middle. Me, Miss Christy. Okay? And then I want you to write your name on your piece of paper. Okay? So this is my artwork. I want you to write your name on your artwork. Okay? So first, we're going to make our crust. Find your brown crayon. What shape do you think I should make my pizza? Does anybody have any suggestions? Ooh, yeah. So I'm going to make a big octagon pizza, just like a big stop sign. But I want you to make a shape that's whatever you want your artwork to be. So I'm going to grab my brown crayon and I'm going to draw an octagon. So when you decide what shape it is, I want you to make it as big as you can on your piece of paper. So you go ahead and watch me, and you'll also see that I'm not trying to make a perfect shape. It's okay to make a mistake because we're going to be coloring all this in. So I'm going to do mine first, and then I want you to try. And I want you to try to make it as big as you can on your paper so we don't have any teeny tiny little pizzas. So I am going to start up here at the top, and I'm going to go across and down and then around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. How many lines and angles do octagons have? Do you know? Ooh, if you said 8, you're right. It has 8. So so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's my funny shaped pizza. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be as big as your paper. So if you're making a circle, a few extra pieces of paper here to just show you how big I want that circle to be on your paper. If you're making a big heart-shaped pizza like my daughter likes to make, then you'd try to make it as big as the piece of paper. Just like that. If you want to make a big square pizza, you try to make it as big as the piece of paper. Just like that. And so that's the start of the crust of our pizza. So after you get in just the outline of your pizza, I want you to draw a parallel line alongside the line you already drew. Does anybody know what a parallel line is? Oh, if you said two lines side by side, you're right. Sometimes you'll see those lines in the middle of the road. They're side by side. So I want you to kind of trace the line that you already drew. And teachers, if you ever need to pause the video, please feel free to do so, and then just press play when everybody catches up. Now that you have your crust drawn in, does everybody have it? Now that I have drawn a second set of lines around my pizza, that's the crust of the pizza. So I want you to go ahead and color it in. Color just the outside first. Just the crust. A friend of mine calls them the pizza bones, and I get to have them because he doesn't like them. Have you ever heard anyone call the crust the pizza bones? Some people like them and some people don't. Sometimes they have stuffed crust pizza. Has anyone ever had stuffed crust pizza before? We started making that at home the last time we made pizzas. We put cheese all along this part of the crust, and then we rolled the crust or the dough over the cheese, and in the oven it melted. So when cheese isn't melted, it's a solid. And then after it's been melted, like if you've ever had cheese dip before and it's kind of runny, that's a liquid. As soon as something can flow like water, it's called a liquid. So go ahead and keep coloring your crust. If you have a different brown, like I have a tan here, I'm going to go ahead and color it over that part as well. Use as many different browns as you have in your crayon box. All right, let's talk about sauce, the liquid of our pizza. So there's different kinds of sauce. My son does not like tomatoes, so he likes a creamy sauce. There's also a sauce called pesto, which is made out of little green bits of herbs from the garden, and it's all ground up, and you put that on the pizza. I love tomato sauce, so my sauce is going to be red. What color is your sauce going to be? It could be green, red, or white. So you choose what kind of sauce you want on your pizza, and that's what we're going to put in next. So I have a red here, and I also have a red orange. So I'm going to use both of those colors to create my sauce. You also could use red violet if you're making a red sauce. If you're making a white sauce, you can use a white crayon. You won't see it very much, but you could mix it with a little bit of yellow, so it'll be kind of like a cheese sauce. But most of the time when you order pizza, like delivery pizza, it comes with a red sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there's no right way to do this. You just want to cover the whole shape. So as I'm doing this, and as you're coloring your crust and your sauce on your very own pizza art, I want to show you this pizza artist named Eric Palmieri. And he created these amazing pizzas out of toppings that show an image. So there's Iron Man and Baby Yoda. There's some of the Disney characters that we all know. And so I want you to start thinking about what you could do with your pizza toppings. You could do just a smiley face, or you can get creative and draw and try to create a picture of your pet. I have a cat at home, and her name is Funny Sunny, and I could put her as a picture on my pizza using toppings that are the same color she is. So think about different things you might want to put on your pizza. Now, if you were using real ingredients, what do you think this artist used when he created Baby Yoda? Well, it looks like in this one, he used maybe bell pepper chopped up into tiny little pieces. And in this one, he used an herb called basil. And the whole leaf is each one of his ears. And the eyes are 2 olives. So, whatever kind of toppings you like on your pizza, you could use those to create an image or a kind of picture on your pizza. So I've colored in one of my reds, and I'm going to come back and color in a little bit of the other one. So this kind of looks like a big stop sign, does it? Because stop signs are octagons. There are other shapes that we see all around us. And I hope that some of you have used some of those shapes you're familiar with. I think I'm going to mix just a little bit of orange into my sauce. You see how I'm layering these different colors, these different warm colors? Have you ever heard of colors having a temperature like warm or cool? So different colors have different temperatures. Do you know what the 3 warm colors are? Yes, if you said red, orange, and yellow, you're right. Those are the 3 warm colors. What about the cool colors? Do you know what cool colors are? Which ones are they? If you said blue, green, and purple, you're right. Those are the cool colors. right. So I've got my pizza and my sauce all ready to go. So I want to show you some different images of the things that you might see in your kitchen. I talked about how when you boil something or you boil water, that steam comes off of it. Have you ever seen that before in your kitchen? Or as your mom is cooking, or your grandparents, maybe you've seen a big pot of gumbo and there's a bunch of steam coming out? What's happening there? Do you know? Well, that steam is coming from the water being heated to a certain temperature. Did you know that water boils at 212 degrees? That's right, 212 degrees is really hot. So when it reaches that temperature, it starts to break the water apart and it turns into a gas. Solids, liquids, and gases are all made up of molecules. Can you say that big word? Molecules. Now, what is a molecule? And is it something we can see? No, it's not something we can see. The only way we can see it is with a very special kind of microscope. So, when we look at something, when you're looking at me, am I a solid, a liquid, or a gas? Mostly I'm a solid, right? But I just drank a whole bunch of water, so if I jump up and down, you might be able to hear the water jumping around in my stomach because it's still liquid. But in a little while, my body's going to take that water and it's going to bring it to all the parts of my body that need water. Because everything in nature has water in it. So there's so many different things that you can look at in nature to see if it's a solid, a liquid, or a gas. So when you're out on the playground today, look around. A tree, it's solid. But when it rains, there's little drops of liquid all over it. And there's liquid in the soil, and those roots of the tree soak up all that moisture or liquid. And what happens? It disperses it, or it sends it up into all the parts of the tree. So in nature, we have a lot of different examples that you could find right there in your playground or in your backyard, in your neighborhood. So look around and ask yourself, is a cloud a solid, liquid, or a gas? Well, guess what? A cloud is all three. It's a solid, it's a liquid, and a gas all at one time. So I have some pictures here that are from different artists, and you can see that in these paintings, this is a famous painting called the Mona Lisa, and you might even know the artist that created this painting. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. Can you say that? Leonardo da Vinci. He created this painting of this girl a long time ago, and people just love this painting, that they do all kinds of funny things to it. And I think it's just hilarious that these three artists gave her some pizza to eat. You can also see in this picture that someone made a giant hamburger painting. And artists use both solids and liquids to create this artwork. So art is often very scientific. The way we create colors, the way we create paints, and then put all those things together. So, how is your pizza crust coming along? Next time, we're going to make toppings for our pizza. So I want you to think about what your favorite toppings are, so that when we come back together, we're going to use colors and scissors and paper, and we're going to cut out and make our own toppings and then glue those onto our paper. We're also going to talk about some of those ingredients and where they come from and how they relate to solids, liquids, and gases. I want to thank you for being with me today for this art project. I had a lot of fun and I hope you did too. So remember, make sure your name is on the back of your piece of paper with your pizza crust, and we're going to save it until next time. Also, I want to encourage you to try and make art every day. Even if it's just a little doodle or a big drawing, you can use drawings to tell a story or just let someone know how you're feeling. It's really great to help in the kitchen. Have you ever made pizza with your family? Talk to them about it. You can really use anything to make a crust, like a tortilla or even just a piece of bread. Sometimes my kids like to make a pizza sandwich where they take 2 pieces of bread, cheese, and pepperonis and put them together. So go ahead and try to help out in the kitchen. It's really great for us to work together as a team. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.